point in the future.
Okay, so on body awareness, what I loved seeing the other day was Andrej Karpathy, AI, well-known figure in AI, did his own N of 1 study at home, which it feels like everyone loves to shit on you, Bryan, for your N of 1, and it's so fun to see other people coming out and publishing their data and results. So I'm going to read you this. So over 2 months, he tested 4 sleep trackers, so Oura, Whoop, 8 Sleep, and Apple. And what he found was Oura and Whoop were top tier. But what I was most interested in, I think this links back to the body awareness, was he said, overall, I say with absolute certainty that that Bryan is basically right, and my sleep scores correlate strongly with the quality of work I'm able to do that day. When my sleep score is low, I lack agency, I lack courage, I lack creativity, I'm simply tired. When my sleep score is high, I can power through anything. On my best days, I can sit down and work through 14 hours and barely notice the passage of time. It's not subtle. The effects are not a function of a single day's sleep, but of the accumulated sleep depth across a duration of the last few days. So in other words, a single bad night's sleep is usually okay, but a few in a row is bad news, and vice versa. Listen to Bryan. I love that. That's so accurate to how I've experienced sleep too. And that's like the weird thing is if you're constantly getting bad night's sleep occasionally, you can't detangle what does it feel like to have this accumulative good night's sleep. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool.
It really speaks to the value of measurement, right? Like, and the associations that we can start to create in our life once we start actually measuring things. And I think that goes beyond sleep as well. Once you start measuring things, you start having this sense of your body, like Bryan was talking about earlier. And without that objective measure, it's hard to understand what all those subjective signals mean. And once you can put those two things together, now you're creating the knowledge and the wisdom to make the right decisions for your own health.
Yeah, totally. I always say to people, just start measuring, because as soon as you know your data every morning, even if you do no interventions, it starts to build that relationship of like, oh, I noticed this today. What's my data say? I've noticed this today. And then once you've got that down pat, you can start doing interventions. But yeah, Bryan, it made me think like you should challenge Andrej to beat your 8-month sleep score.
Yeah, the thing, I absolutely loved this right up. First, Andrej is one of the most formidable intellects of our time. He's a founding member of OpenAI. He's the director of AI at Tesla's program for autonomous driving. He has been on the forefront of the AI revolution. And this is the contemplation that I had after selling Braintree Venmo was like, we are at this incredibly interesting moment in this part of the galaxy of we're evolving into a new species. And so my observation was that the most important thing we could do would be improving our own intelligence to see this moment for what it is and act wisely, not foolishly, but have wisdom beyond our capacity. And so my effort was first around kernel, which is if we can measure the brain and reveal the invisible things that happen in the brain and then pair that with AI, that would give us a vector to begin improving our intelligence at speeds which we otherwise can't. And not just intelligence in terms of IQ, but all dimensions of intelligence. Like, what if you actually could pair your mind with AI as you're working on emotional development, or on correcting your blind spots, or in trying to have a more well-rounded thought process, or not be sucked into these very narrow world views that get you in this tribal mindset. So what I was really trying to do is say we need to augment ourselves. And so what Andrej's doing is Andrej's building the future of intelligence in the form of AI. And in doing this study, he's actually building his own intelligence. And that's what he's saying is like, hey, I did this experiment with sleep. I see a substantial improvement in my intelligence along the realms of creativity, right? And the elements he talked about. So to me, that was like the best representation. It's the best outcome I could ever ask for, which is an architect of superintelligence is leaning into what we're saying is it makes sense on all dimensions to invest in your own intellect and trying to acquire abilities beyond your natural states by taking care of yourself. And so yeah, it was so fulfilling. Man, we just take so much shit every day, all day. And so to have someone incredible like him come out and say, what? Sleep works. It dramatically improves my life. You can measure it. You can actually create life systems for it. It's just like, man, what an absolute joy to read that. So I appreciate him doing that. I appreciate his kind words. It's just like such a great moment like it's such a good reward for the efforts we do every day of like, you guys, let's stop doing stupid stuff. Let's not eat junk food. Let's not drink alcohol. Let's not go to bed late. Let's prioritize sleep. Let's like, let's exercise. Let's measure ourselves. So yeah, I was really excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah.